File a civil lawsuit. Chapter 1. Filing a civil lawsuit. Civil lawsuit nuts and bolts. And if you feel that someone or some company has wronged you in some way which can be translated into a dollar value, you can get even by taking them to court if you feel you have a strong enough case, but be forewarned that taking legal action can take its toll on your time, nerves, and pocketbook. They say that suing is the American way, but if you watch court TV, you know that there are a lot of civil lawsuits out there where the plaintiffs are stunned when they lose, so don't expect to win all the time. I remember such cases as the family who sued a skateboard manufacturer for not putting safety instructions on their skateboard after the son got killed when a car hit him. They lost. Or consider the guy who sued Bellevue Hospital in New York for not having adequate security when his wife got murdered in there. He lost, adding insult to his injury. And then there was the case of the fired pro basketball assistant coach who screamed racism. He lost too. So my point is, don't expect the judge or jury to sympathize with your plight just because you filed the lawsuit, and don't dream of visions of the big payoff. First off, some of these trials take years, then, if you win, your lawyer takes a big cut, and there's the appeal and the chance that even with the judgment in your favor, you will never collect a dime, and juries these days are onto frivolous people trying to make a quick, sleazy buck, so think twice before you decide to file a lawsuit. Most lawsuits have relatively modest awards of damages. The most common lawsuits are divorce cases and related actions, including custody, paternity, and support matters filed in the state family court in your county of residence. Lawsuits relating to employment are filed in state or federal court depending on the facts. Lawsuits seeking compensation from accident, negligence, workers' compensation claims, business matters, and consumer issues are all filed in state court, of which a court should be located in every county. Negligence is one party's legal failure to exercise a sufficient degree of normal care owed to another in any conduct of daily life. These actions could range from a bus driver not operating his bus safely, to a store owner leaving a bucket in an aisle, to someone not scraping the ice off their part of the sidewalk. You must file your case in the proper jurisdiction court in the proper locale where the defendant lives or where the transgression occurred. Your lawyer or a county clerk will help you with this information. The basics of filing a lawsuit are: first, you have to find the proper jurisdiction, namely where the person or business that you are suing is located, and secondly, you have to find the proper court. If you have a case filed against you, talk to a lawyer about the possibility of getting it thrown out. If you're thinking about filing a lawsuit, talk to a few different lawyers to determine whether your case would be worthwhile to pursue, namely, do you have a good chance of winning, and does the defendant have sufficient assets to make it worthwhile? You could hire a private investigator to learn about your opponent's assets before you proceed. You might also consider if the opponent is willing to settle out of court. Class action lawsuit info. A class action suit is filed on behalf of several or numerous people. The court must issue a special order recognizing the suit as a class action. To maintain a class action suit in federal court, the person filing must meet a number of tests and must show that the class is composed of numerous persons. There are questions of law and fact common to the class. The claims made by the person filing suit are typical of the claims of the people in the class. The person filing the suit will fairly and adequately protect the interests of the class. Class action suits are lawsuits where a group of people, all united by somebody else's alleged negligence or negative behavior, get together to file a group lawsuit such that there is only one trial for the entire group instead of separate trials for each one. The more usual way a class action lawsuit starts is that some lawyers get together and file a lawsuit with one or two clients, but put the word out they are looking for people who experienced the same injustice to contact them and get listed as CO plaintiffs in a class action lawsuit. This is one way some lawyers get rich quickly. If a class action lawsuit with 100 or more people in it comes out in their favor, they generally get 30% of the entire judgment. The downside of class action lawsuits is the time they take and the fact that even if they win, the company will usually fold and they will never collect their judgment. Most class action lawsuits are filed by consumers against a company. Class action lawsuit websites: classcounsel.com, class-actions.com. classactionlitigation.com. classactionlitigation.com/library/ca_articles.html. classactionamerica.com. Billions of dollars from class action settlements have historically been unclaimed by consumers, investors, small businesses. classactionattorneys.com. class-action-finder.com. classactionlawsuit.org. classactionlitigation.com, class action litigation information. classactionworld.com. Securities Class Action Clearinghouse. Stanford School of Law. securities.stanford.edu. Class action lawsuits regarding stocks and bonds. Damages awarded. In some states, the jury only decides liability and not damages. Damages are decided in a separate trial determined by either the jury and/or the judge. There are several types of damages in the form of money that you can collect for, like: compensatory damages are the actual out-of-pocket losses the plaintiff/victim suffered/experienced. Incidental damages are the direct out-of-pocket expenses involved in filing the lawsuit, like court costs, lawyers' fees, paperwork, etc. Liquidated damages are an amount of money agreed upon during the time a contract is made up which will be paid if the contract is breached in some way. If this value seems unrealistic, a judge will disregard it and make his own decision as to what amount to award. Nominal damages are awarded basically for two reasons. Firstly, if one guy wins but his suffering or damages are negligible or he was not able to prove it, and secondly, if one side wins on legal grounds but it is a trivial or morally reprehensible lawsuit, the judge may award something like $1 just to spite him. The judge awards a small, trivial judgment to the person who brought suit because the person has proved the case, but the suit is really trivial. The person hasn't really suffered as a result of the incident and probably just wants to make some easy money, so the judge is basically getting back at him, calling him an idiot via the nominal judgment. Punitive damages, also called exemplary damages, represent money awarded to punish the party's intentional wrongful acts beyond any compensatory damages. Sometimes punitive awards can be quite high because the judge is sending a message to all other people out there engaging in the particular practice. Such a case might be a corporation somehow ripping off its customers, as in the case of a company that made fake orange juice. The judge wanted to send a message, so he fined them many millions of dollars. Punitive damages go beyond compensatory damages to punish a person for their malicious or unethical act. The people will not go to jail because it's a civil suit, but they will be punished in the pocketbook. Specific performance is not monetary damages but an order by the court on the defendant to do something like stop doing business, not engage in a certain type of work, stay away from an area, etc. Injunction is a court order which restrains one party from performing or refusing to perform a certain action. Mitigation of damages is a legal principle which requires that the plaintiff make reasonable efforts to do things that will reduce the damages he or she is seeking. For instance, for a landlord or house seller to find new tenants/buyers if the others have backed out of the deal. Court judgment recovery/judgment collection. You won the verdict, now how do you collect your money? You can win a judgment in civil or small claims court, but courts do little or nothing to help you collect the money. You need a lawyer or a professional to file the paperwork to seize the defendant's assets, then get the sheriff's office to enforce it. Some of them even chase people down who took off to avoid paying the judgment. Their fees go from 15% to 30% of money collected. Find civil or small claims court judgment lawyers in your area. A garnishment is a court procedure allowing you to garner wages. wikihow.com/collect-a-court-ordered-judgment. consumer-law.collecting-on-small-claims-judgments.html. collectacourtjudgment.com. collectcourtjudgments.com. Anyone can get sued/getting sued. When somebody brings a lawyer a possible case, the first thing the lawyer does is do a public records and insurance search on the possible defendant. If this person or company has considerable assets, he'll probably sue even if it is a silly lawsuit, because most of the time there's an out-of-court settlement before the trial ever starts. The defendant usually ends up paying less for the settlement than he would have paid in lawyer fees to his lawyers. If the defendant is worried about his reputation, he may fight it. In any case, if you don't have much money, very few lawyers will take on a case that they will have very little chance of making money from. You could be sued for a variety of reasons. You were in a car accident, you didn't pay your bills, you did shoddy work for someone slipped and fell in your store, you punched someone out in a moment of anger and wrecked their pretty face that now wants cosmetic surgery, you're a doctor who did something questionable that a patient didn't like or misinterpreted, and the list goes on. If someone sues you, you will receive a summons either via mail for a small claim suit, or a process server or deputy will hand deliver one to you at your house. The summons contains the complaint filed against you, some background information, where to appear for the trial, and some general information about your rights and what you can do to protect yourself. If you are sued and you have either an insurance company related to the incident, such as in the case of a car accident, or if you are sued as part of a corporate suit or because of doing something while in the employ of a corporation or company, your first task is to contact them and they will hire an attorney for you. Take heed though that the attorney they hire for you is really working for them, so at any point in the trial, his or her loyalties may shift from defending you to protecting the company, hence, there may be a conflict of interest with such an attorney. Just keep that in mind. You will have to pay a filing fee, which is the court's cost for you to file your response to the lawsuit, and there may be other costs in addition to your lawyer fees. The stages of lawsuits are different in every state, but generally when you get the summons, you have a certain amount of time to file what is called an appearance and an answer to the complaint. If you fail to take these steps, you may lose by default. They win by you not showing up, and if you own a house or some investments, they have the right to take it away or put a lien on it. The court's officers could come physically to your house and take things away, or they could attach a lien against your house for the value of the judgment, so that when you sell it, the property can't pass ownership until you pay it off with interest. They can do this sneakily without your knowledge, so don't laugh when Ma Bell sends you a summons for unpaid phone bills. After you've filed your appearance and answer, a date may be set for either a trial or a report to the court on the status of the case. While this is going on, the parties generally engage in the process of discovery, where both sides jostle with each other in depositions and interrogatories as discussed above. The two parties along with the judge will try to resolve the case without going to trial. If the case goes to trial and you want a jury, it will probably cost you an additional filing fee. If you lose, the judge or jury will decide on the extent of damages. After settlement of the trial, a court order is written and signed by the judge. The order sets out the obligations arising from the lawsuit. If there is an order for damages and money is owed, the order can be enforced by various collection methods such as wage garnishing or the sale of assets such as a car, property, or even a house. Civil lawsuit websites. AboutLawsuits.com, eHow.com, How to file a lawsuit, en.wikipedia.org/wiki/lawsuit, law.edu.smu.edu/firstday/civil_procedure/default.htm, civil procedure law tutorial, lectlaw.com/files/lit01.htm, what kinds of things should a person consider before pursuing a civil lawsuit, eHow.com, how to avoid a lawsuit if you have to fight, legal-forms-kit.com/freelgaladvice/litigation/12.html. Getting sued websites. Getting sued is a specific issue. Your case is different from everyone else's. These websites might help with general knowledge, but your best bet is to make up specific questions about your case and go to the legal Ask a Question websites and ask them straight up, one-on-one. courtinfo.ca.gov/self-help, getting sued, answering the lawsuit. eHow.com, how to avoid getting sued by your tenants. Overlawyered.com. Sitepoint.com/forums, getting sued, help.